Hey guys, Martin here. We're still here. I think number 71. We're in the 70s anyway. I should have an afro and be playing disco music and be getting my funk on. Is that a phrase? Getting my funk on? I think I just made that up. I think I combined a bunch of different phrases. I'm here at Metacon 2016 in Minneapolis. And in case you probably hear it right now. I was going to say you might hear the occasional noise from outside my hotel room because my hotel room is right next to the elevators. And with a convention being the way it is, there are rowdy people occasionally going down to the lobby to hang out and party and go down to the rave and all the other events. And they often travel in groups. They're like Tuscan Raiders. They'll come back within greater numbers. And you'll occasionally probably hear them screaming and cackling like demons. So in case you're worried, I'm not being attacked by some otherworldly entity. It's just a convention, and I'm safe. I think I'm 100% safe. I wanted to talk about how things went down this weekend because it's now Saturday night, and this was a solo convention for me. I've not done a show solo for a while. Usually I've had either somebody traveling with me or I've had friends in the at the convention to hang out with or to spend time with or to just to have around as a safety net, so to speak. Like sometimes it's people on staff, sometimes it's other guests, but this time, yeah, I didn't really know anybody all that well. I mean, I know people, but I don't know them. There's a difference between, knowing someone's name and face and just knowing them as a person. And I don't really know anybody here as a person. And I've not had that. I've not had that in such a long time. I think this phone is moving slowly. So I apologize if you've had to slowly watch me slide downwards like that. That was embarrassing. But if it happens again, I'll have to start paying attention to my position on the screen. I'm watching it now, now that I said it. Am I moving? I can't tell. But I haven't done a solo show in such a long time, and it's not something I was looking forward to. It's not that I wasn't excited about the convention. It's not that I wasn't, I'm always thrilled to get to go to a show. I know I've said in previous We're Still Here's, often times when I'm having, a bit of a down moment, to put it lightly, if I'm upset, if I'm like physically showing signs of being upset, I often say in these entries, oh, I'm not going to have a good time, no matter what I say. If you meet me and I say I'm having a good time, I'm lying to you. Well, I still have the feeling of excitement and the feeling of anticipation when I come to one of these things, because it's just a part of my life now, that it does have positive aspects to it, and it has a lot of positive aspects to it. They're just hard to see sometimes. Depression often clouds our judgment, clouds our minds, and it changes our perspective on things. It switches things around. I met somebody this weekend who is technically blind, and they're completely colorblind, but they're able to manipulate their own sight so that if they are told something is one color, they'll see it as that color in their eyes, as far as they're aware. But then they can force themselves to see it as a different color. And I feel like that's almost how depression works when it comes to, tricking you into believing that something is going to be a bad experience, or is going to be something that is painful or difficult, or is something you don't want, even though you've always wanted it before, even though for all intents and purposes there's no reason to not want it. Depression changes the color of the thing that you're looking forward to, or that you're looking at in that moment, or the person that it changes it in much the same way that that guy's sight changes his perception of things. And in a similar vein, we can't control it sometimes. We just can't. But as far as this convention goes, coming here solo was not something I had even thought about. I hadn't spent much time, considering the fact that this was going to be me on my own, dealing with the whole convention environment. And obviously, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not a war zone here. I'm not here in the muck, with a bunch of horrible people, poking me with sticks or anything. I'm here with people who want to see me. I'm here with people who want to help me, and I'm here with people who like me, and some of them love me, even though I've never met them before, which is incredible. But being here alone really, it made things very different. You know, it's one thing to look forward to coming up to the hotel room and lying in bed with my wife at the end of a long day working at a show, but to look forward to coming up to this room and being by myself and just having my mind for company, that's not a that's not a really great prospect sometimes. That's not something it's not something I look forward to. At the end of the day, when I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, if I'm depressed, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone with my own mind. But then my mind tells me, but you don't want to be out there with those people. They don't like you. You don't want to be out there. You don't want to be. There's so many people out there, and they're laughing at you, and they don't want you around. And whether that's true or not, that's how I feel. So, and I don't really have anybody around nearby. I don't have anybody within reach to really talk to me and tell me otherwise. Certainly nobody who I could immediately reach anyway. Mariana's only a phone call away, so I have that option, but it's not always as easy as that. Sometimes she's not available. You can hear people talking outside. I apologize for that. But the convention itself, I guess I'll go through it event by event, chronologically as it happened. I got in, and unfortunately I had to sit in the middle seat on the plane. First world problems, I guess. But I got in, and we got into the hotel, and I checked into my room. I came up here. I unpacked everything that I had to unpack, and I had a long cry. I won't lie to you. I had a long cry because I was like, this is going to be a long, lonely weekend. I knew that that this wasn't something. It wasn't going to be a cakewalk for me emotionally. So I had a long cry. But I listened to some music, and I called Mariana on the phone, and I put it out of my mind. I got it out of my system as far as I was concerned, and then I fell asleep. I went to opening ceremonies the next day after having set up my booth first thing in the morning, which is the worst, by the way. The worst thing ever is having to wake up first thing in the morning before anything's even happening and just spend time setting up a booth. I don't even do a very good job of setting up, but I have to do it either way. So it's just frustrating to have to wake up so early to get food, get ready, get set up, and then go to opening ceremonies, which was fun for the most part. Everybody was having a good time. The other guests were really funny when they came up on stage, and then they called me out. Now, I had made my way down to opening ceremonies. I guess I was late. I didn't really have a staff member meeting me anywhere. Nobody was really communicating with me, so I just walked in and went into the audience because I looked around. I stood at the entrance, and I was like, I guess I should find a place to sit. I sat down with the audience, and then when they called me up, I got up out of the audience. I was like, I'm here. I stood on the stage, and I made the mistake of trying to be funny, which with me, if I try to be funny, I struggle. If I don't try to be funny, I'm not necessarily funny, but at least I'm natural, and I'm not stressing myself out, and I'm not forcing myself to do something. So I tried to be funny when I was on stage, and it got a laugh. It got a bit of a laugh, but the more I did it, the more I started to panic, because I was like, oh gosh, this isn't working. They're not enjoying this. Most of these people probably don't even know who I am. So I was like, oh gosh, okay. And then I started sweating, and I started, fidgeting, and I started having this very strong feeling of anxiety welling up inside my stomach and traveling up toward my head where my brain is, and I was like, okay, this is about to get really bad. So I just sort of cut things short, and I was like, oh, come to my panels, I'll see you later, have a good time. And I rushed off stage, and I went up to my room, and I had another cry because there was another half an hour till the vendors hall opened. So I did that, and that was really bad. I wish I'd handled that better, but I can't really change that. I can't really change that because it was just a feeling that came out of nowhere. I think it was the sudden realization that I was, how how it feels when a roller coaster starts and you start traveling up the slope, and you get to the top of the hill, and it just the moment before it falls, and when you're falling, you accept it and you enjoy it if you enjoy roller coasters while it's happening. But if you have that dread and that trepidation and that worry, like I do, at that moment where it's about to tip over the edge and you're not falling yet, but it's about to happen and you don't know how it's going to feel. That's what I was feeling extremely strongly. It was very amplified by the sheer fact that there were so many people staring at me, and there were so many people expecting things from me. And obviously that's not anybody's fault. That's not anybody's fault. I just had a bad moment, and it passed, and it was temporary. And I finished up my little crying session. I went to the booth. I sold for about half an hour. Then I came to do a panel, which was it was all right. It was really chill because it was really early in the convention, so there was not that many people there, and I just got to talk to a group of people like it was a casual conversation, and it was nice. It was actually a really nice panel, and then I went back to the booth, sold for about 4 hours or so, and then packed up and went to do my 18+ panel later that night. And I really hated that. It's not that I don't like 18+ panels, I just don't think I fit that format, I think if it's just me, I'm no good at that sort of thing. I have to force myself to be vulgar, and that's not, again, forcing myself to do something. That makes me feel anxious. That makes me feel really anxious. I'm not naturally a very coarse person. I'm not naturally loud or raucous, and I think when people go to an 18+ panel, that's what they expect. So I got really upset, not during the panel, but after the panel. Friday was rough. Friday I cried at the beginning, middle, and end. So yeah, I didn't have a good time Friday. But Saturday, that's today, I did my panel early in the day, and then I spent most of the time at the booth, and everybody was throwing all these positive vibes at me. I have to thank everybody who came and went out of their way to check in with me and to tell me all these really positive things about how, when I say things like everybody, that I'm worthless and that nobody cares about me, which I don't say like just generally. I don't say it unless I'm talking in one of these, or unless somebody talks to me about it. I don't say stuff like that because it's a downer, and I just want to make people happy. I just want to be a positive influence. Even with this series, I just want to be a positive influence. I want to take something bad that's happened to me and try and turn it into something that can be good, that can help, that can turn somebody else's bad situation into something different, change the direction that they're going in from downhill to uphill. I don't want to just be, I don't ever want to just be the guy who's whining and perpetuating this and having a negative outlook on things and just putting negative energy out there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't ever, and if you ever get that from these videos, please stop watching them, because that is the last thing I want to do to you. So today, everybody just went out of their way to support me, and obviously, if you're watching this one's more of just a personal journal. This one isn't really something where I talk about how I deal with depression, because obviously not everybody can have this experience. Not everybody can have people come up to them, like total strangers come up to them and be like, "You're gonna be all right." I guess I'm the total stranger telling you that. I guess if there is any way of conveying that feeling, I think you are gonna be all right. I know you're gonna be all right. If you're watching this, and if you're believing what I'm saying, and if you're looking at me and you see the guy who's always like crying to himself, wrapped in his stupid green bathrobe, and being like miserable and saying that there's no point, and saying he doesn't want to do anything, and he doesn't want anything, and he wants to die. That guy, that's this guy, and right now he doesn't feel any of that. Right now he's smiling, and you can feel that way too. You can. You might not feel that way right now, but you can. If you can look back on your life and remember times when you've been happy, and if you've been happy, then you have the ability to be happy again. I promise you, it's hard to see. It's almost completely invisible, but it's there and it exists. It's like oxygen. You take it for granted, and sometimes you can't even see it. You can't. It's invisible, but it's there, and it'll keep you alive. That feeling, that memory. That's what I'm holding on to right now. So yeah, so many people came up to me and just gave me these completely selfless messages of positivity and support, seemingly out of nowhere, because I hadn't prompted anything. So today was a real turnaround. It was almost like, the journey I've been on is like I showed up on my own, feeling completely isolated and miserable, and like there was no point to any of this. And today I feel like there is a lot to look forward to. I'm still feeling a bit rough around the edges. I'm still really tired and exhausted, but I've got a smile on my face, and I've got a smile in my heart, and I can hear a smile in my voice. And that's really great. It's really great. I don't know how else to say it. It's really great. I'm really, really good right now. And I have these total strangers to thank for it, who don't need me to be happy. They don't need to know that I'm happy, but they want me to be happy. And I want that for you. I really do. So Metacon, overall positive. I had a bad time the first day, but it turned into a good time, and I'm choosing to focus on that part of it. It's been one day good, one day bad, but the good day is what matters. And that's a good way of looking at life. One day might be good, one day might be bad. 1 month might be bad, and 1 day might be good. But when you balance the two, the good day is what outweighs the bad stuff. Because that's what you remember. The camera is tilting again. I call it a camera, it's my phone. But the phone is tilting, and I'm slowly going to be retreating to the ground, or however it looks to you guys. But yeah, that's been my Metacon experience. Sorry this one isn't, I guess it's not the most informative entry, but they're not always informative. But this has been a good one. I think this has been a good, it's been good to vent. It's been good to just put this out there, I'm glad that I did this. I wasn't going to. Part of me was like, I don't think I'm going to have anything to say. But that I did. So thanks for listening, guys. I'm slowly falling off. I'm going to just let it do it. Oh no. It's just going to slowly pan up to the ceiling. It feels kind of artistic. This is me turning my face to the sky and looking forward to things, and looking forward to the light coming from the sun, or the light bulb that is up there. I don't know. This is a really strange feeling that I'm just so slowly shrinking. This is what I have to look forward to in my old age, is that I will eventually be this small. Oh, there we go. Oh. Just in case it falls off the edge, I'm going to say goodbye right now. I'll see you later. Have a good time. I hope to see you next week. Take care. Oh.